Need to order, roll call please.
Mr. Boria?
Here.
Mr. Blanton?
Here.
Mr. Robinson?
Here.
All right, we're here for the tax budget, and we'll have an explanation from our fiscal officer, Cindy Ozier.
Yes. This is something we have to do every year. We're the only county in the state of Ohio has to do this. So we're not sure, but I absolutely, Jim and I talk about it, and I say it every year. One of my favorite reports, because it takes all the money that we spent all these past years, and then it has a forecast. I enter numbers based on, salaries, and, I'm seeing a trend, and it gives you a 5-year forecast. So you remember, it's a forecast. It's just kind of the trend. It's following a trend. So I really like it, especially when levies are coming up. So Matt gave us the fire department part of it. So that was really nice to have. So, and then Jim, I did it, and then Jim reviewed it. So in the general fund, just keep in mind 26 is when it's due to renew. Am I right? That don't sound right. I put it on here 26.
I think the...
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So general fund levy?
So, and the finance committee and you, just in your brain, got to think, my opinion is I think we'll be okay renewing it right now. Just renewing it. It all depends on, we're still iffy about Miami Fort and, that kind of stuff, but we got a little time.
So are we, this is our, back to 1960, is that correct?
Yeah.
It's never had an increase.
We have never increased it.
We've never had an increase. Right.
The only thing I maybe recommend is if we renewed it, maybe renewed it as the new rate to bring in that new millage. Right now it's probably bringing in the old 200,000, where it could bring in 360,000.
Right. Right.
So that might be the only thing I would suggest, is keep it the same, but maybe bring in the new millage.
Go ahead, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Everything else with the fire levy passing, that has really gave the fire department and me and Jim a relief on next year. So that's a good thing. I know Matt is really good with the budget, which is a good thing. We, nothing against fire chiefs in the past, but we've never really had someone that really understands the budget. And so it's a good thing. You want to add?
Just that we may want to look at, I think we could renew that if we want to just renew that levy this year, because there's a bill at the House, I'm going to mention it later.
Next year?
After January 26th, you may not be able to renew tax levies anymore. So if we just want to renew it and not have to put it on as new, we may want to do that this fall as opposed to...
There's a lot of things happening,
Oh, so you're talking about this year, this November?
Yeah. I think we can renew it this year.
Do we have enough time?
Huh?
Do we have enough time?
Yeah.
Oh, we would have to have 2 meetings.
We're 1 week away from July. I thought we had to have
August
it
6th
done.
is when it has to be into the boilers.
We would have to have a special meeting.
So we got 30, maybe 38 days, something, maybe 40 days?
Yeah. So
So you're telling me 2025 is the last year?
No, it may. There's a lot of proposals going
There's a
on.
lot going on.
I think that I heard, I don't want to attest to the exact number, but there were like 30-some different proposals at the state, Senate and State House. And they're trying to figure out with the property taxes, whether they're eliminating that, whether they're curtailing that, whether they're cutting back in increments. And it all could have a huge impact on all of our local jurisdictions. And one of the other proposals, as they're saying, is that it would not allow renewals of levies, so you'd have to have a brand new levy every time, basically.
And if you do that, it has to be 60% approval. I mean, there's
a lot of different things being kicked
there.
around. So it doesn't mean it's going to happen. It doesn't mean they're going to for sure say that you can't do renewals, but it is one of the many things floating out there and being discussed among the state legislators. And it's something that obviously OTA, Municipal League, everyone else is on pins and needles and watching every single move. So we may get clarity because the House budget is, the state is supposed to be done, I think, by the end of June. So we may get some clarity, but the clock's ticking as we're discussing as far as if we're going to move forward with some of this. We wouldn't potentially need to start the process if we're going to put this on the November
And
ballot.
we really could do that because the first process is just taking it to the county auditor to get certified. That doesn't mean we have to do it.
Right,
So
right.
we could go ahead today, at least get the steps going, the first step, if you wanted. I mean, if the board decided that.
Are we talking about just for renewal? Because have we looked at
I don't think we've looked at,
a small increase or not? Like Cindy,
Yeah.
like the increase you were saying from 200,000 to
The only
360?
thing I would say is renew it, but at the replacement that we get the new millage. So we would probably get another 100,000 a year, which would be nice.
yeah, we just don't, not knowing what's gonna happen with Miami Fort right now,
Right.
it's gonna, that would be the only reason I would think we would wanna raise that, even 1 mil.
And I've got a lot of positive feedback and updates on Miami Fort, but nothing is guaranteed there again.
Right.
And so I've been talking to Vistra, their corporate company, and, you know, there's a lot of discussions as far as repurposing that and potentially making that a natural gas plant, which wouldn't bring in as much as we've been getting so far, but it would obviously bring in some tax revenue. But they're cautiously optimistic with the change at the federal level, with the new president, the EPA, federal EPA, and the approach that, you know, that there might be some opportunity to keep that alive. But you're right, there is a lot of uncertainty on all fronts. Now, would that be still considered a renewal, Cindy, or Jim, if that is bringing in the new?
If it's just a
No.
renewal, it'll be still at the old rate. We would have to call it a replacement.
Okay,
There's a different term for that, right?
Right.
It's a renewal of a replacement, and then we would get the new millage. Or
Why, okay. So
I think I mean, if we just replaced it to get the new millage, renewed it, but get the replacement.
are you-
I'm afraid if we add millage, people, I mean, we barely passed the fire levy. I mean, we failed it, then passed it, but I don't
So
know.
you're saying we'll do a renewal, which will be termed replacement?
Right.
For
is
the
my-
same as
But
what
that's
we're
my
getting.
opinion.
That's what you're saying would be the same that we're getting?
So
Right.
what,
Right.
No, if we did a replacement, it's basically a renewal, but you have to do a different term of replacement at the same millage. And the thing is, if it fails in November, we still get another year of that money. So it's not like, then we could just put it
We
back
can-
on.
You can always, well, depending on what happens with that proposal, you know, we can always put it back on. It's either a new, if that's what they require, or a renewal.
but if you're going as a replacement, then it's not technically a renewal. So then even if they do prohibit renewals,
Well, it is a renewal, but it's just, I know.
I know,
it's very-
I know what
You know
you're
what I'm
saying,
saying,
but-
I know.
but then
Our
that wouldn't
people-
keep us from doing a replacement potentially in next.
Well, even if the
next,
renewal, I don't know, maybe that's something
We're
we
on
need
the
to
record.
talk to
We're on
the
the
county, what the best thing is to do, or,
Yeah,
well,
let's,
that's
let's
my,
at least-
yeah, that's my, I guess my question is what's the harm in getting the number?
right.
Right, there's no harm in getting the number for the replacement.
Either way, if the levy fails, we still have a year to get that money. And if the renewal failed, either a renewal or replacement failed, we still wouldn't be getting the
Paul?
money, so, yeah.
Paul, we're
But-
still we're on the record on the tax budget.
so we would have to do that in regular session anyway, so.
So Tim, I didn't hear what you said. What did you say?
What's the harm in getting the number for what that replacement would bring in?
Right, you can actually approve at the meeting in the meeting, you could approve that we go ahead, approve to go to the county to get certified for the levy as a
Replacement
a
versus.
replacement and a renewal, is what you could do in the
We can do
meeting.
that, let's do that tonight. Let's bring it up and see if that
At least that'll be
passes.
one step out of the way, and then
Right.
then the
And
board
then
will
we can
decide.
determine what we do in the future.
Yeah, yeah.
If you can give me
I just wanna make it
5
clear.
minutes so I can-
I mean, I don't like going, you know, if we said that it was gonna be through '26, I don't love going early. So the only reason I'd be considering it is because of this
Right, right.
potential legislation
Well, that's what
that would
we-
keep us right. I just want to make it clear that, I think, again,
agree with you.
we would have to start from the beginning in messaging and making sure that people understand that we're not just jumping the gun and, you
We're
know,
actually doing it so we don't have to.
We would have to
Right.
right.
promote that. And
But and also explain what Mike is saying, that the replacement, am I correct about this? The replacement will bring us in more money without raising the millage.
Right, right.
Correct?
Right.
Same millage.
Okay, good. All right. Any other discussions?
Yeah, and we need
Then
to
we'll see.
see if any residents,
Well, I'm going to.
oh, okay, sorry.
I was just asking the board.
Sorry.
So, all right, we got any discussion from the public about what we're discussing, our tax budget and our renewal on our general fund levy?
Yeah, Barry Moorline, 56 Gulf Gum Run Road. So will that increase people's taxes if you do a replacement?
Yes. Because it
That's
would be at the new
first
rate.
question the public's going to ask.
Be tiny,
And how
tiny.
much?
Be
Okay.
very tiny, yeah. It'd be very tiny.
It'll be real tiny because Cindy's
Right.
estimating only $100,000 a year. So do you got any idea?
I don't have it, I wouldn't know offhand right now.
It wouldn't even be a quarter of a mill, would it?
Right. Yeah.
So-
It would be very,
And this is for our general fund that
Yeah.
hasn't been increased in 40-something years.
oh,
Correct.
60 years probably.
60 years, yeah, since
So-
1960.
I thought with the replacing that it would just pull in those that were not included in the levy, you know, new residents that have moved in since the
Could be, wouldn't that
since
be
the
right?
last time it was voted
I
on.
don't know.
I don't know.
I know, I don't want to,
I'm- Without verifying,
I think it's something like that. We would need to, that's what I'm saying, when you guys, we can call tomorrow and then we can check on what's that pulling,
We
is it
can-
increasing, and just get more facts on the
We can
replacement.
get more
Good.
information, and then tonight, like we said, when we go into this regular session, we can at least make the motion to.
Right, to go either, so we can,
Right,
that's
so
what
the
you guys
numbers.
can.
Go
And
to
then we
the
will,
auditor, see what it would generate
Right.
for us, and then we'd have more information to
Right, and I
give
would-
to the
right.
public. How's that sound, everyone? We'll have to do that in our next
Redwood,
session.
yeah.
Because I agree, my understanding is that we would, and that doesn't mean my understanding is correct, but that everyone would continue to pay the exact same rate, but that we're pulling in those that weren't part of the, you know, the levy when it was last voted on. So you're expanding
So-
you know, your base of who's paying into it.
So-
That's my understanding, but I'm not an expert by
Right,
any means
right.
on this.
But if that's the case, then there wouldn't be an increase.
Well, you're generating more because more people are paying into
Right.
it, but it's the same
But
amount.
more- That's correct.
Yeah.
But we
Same-
still
same
wouldn't, it
millage.
wouldn't increase the people that are originally paying right now. Right?
well, those people, everybody pays that tax because it's part of the 10 mil. So the effective rate reduces by the number of people that are paying it. And when property values go up, then the effective rate of that tax stays the same. So, because whatever it was 60 years ago is what it brings it down. So if you do a replacement or renewal, everybody would pay the new rate. So it would, I think it would.
So it would
Okay.
increase, you're thinking? We can still get clarification and
Right,
make sure,
then we can
right?
know too how much it's gonna increase on a $100,000 home and.
Yeah, it's got to be minimal. It has to be. If it only generates
Oh, it's gotta be very
100,000 a
tiny,
year.
right.
All right, any other questions about the tax budget? All right. Do we need to adjourn to go out of this session?
Yep, and then go back in, yeah.
All right, I'll make a motion that we adjourn for out of the tax budget meeting.
I'll second.
Mr. Walria?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
All right, welcome, everyone. If you'd rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Walria?
Here?
Mr. Blanton?
Here.
Mr. Robinson?
Here.
All right, I need a motion for the acceptance of the minutes from May 21st, 2025, the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees.
I will make a motion for the acceptance of the minutes from the May 21st, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Trustees.
I'll second.
Mr. Walria?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
A motion for the acceptance of the minutes from May 28th, 2025, special meeting of the Board of Trustees.
All right, I'll make a motion for the acceptance of the minutes from the May 28th, 2025 special Board of the meeting of Trustees.
I'll second.
Mr. Walria?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
All right, a motion for the acceptance of the invoices.
I'll make a motion that we accept all invoices as presented by the fiscal officer, Ms. Oser.
And I will second.
Mr. Walria?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
All right, Lieutenant McElroy, Sheriff's Department.
Evening,
Lieutenant.
Lieutenant Conroy, from County Sheriff Patrol, District 1. Let's see, as far as dispatch runs, the officers for dispatch in May to 272 details. They also had 42 self-initiated or non-billable runs, so a total of 314 runs they went on. As far as service exchange, Miami Township cars were requested out of Miami Township 111 times in May. 75 times they actually responded, 36 times they were disregarded en route. At the same time, 206 times county cars were requested into Miami Township, 85 times they responded, 121 times they were disregarded or otherwise handled. During the month of May, we took 14 criminal reports, 14 non-criminal reports, and 10, in my memory serves correct, auto accident reports. That's all I have as far as incidents reports go. I know there were some requests for some extra patrols. I can tell you that those have been put out and patrolled by myself and other officers. Are there any questions?
All right, any questions from the board?
We'll talk about it later, but I appreciate you meeting with us to talk about that. So I think we're going to talk about that with when Mr. Brett gives his report.
All right, any questions for the lieutenant from the public? All right, thank you, LT. All right, administrators report.
Good evening, everyone. A quick update on the Jordan Road water line. The engineering is still being worked on. We'll be sending the plans to the Village of Cleves and the Ohio EPA simultaneously early in July for their approval. And we've divided the project into two phases so that we can hopefully get the first phase done at the same time as phase two, but to put an emphasis to get the water line easement out of the park property and get that issue taken care of with Cleves to their satisfaction. Crack sealing of the road started actually yesterday, and the crack sealing is ongoing, and the rest of the work will start in early July. So our work with Duke continues. Kim is still trying to straighten out Dukeville, bless her heart. And amongst other things that she's been doing, this was something I didn't realize we were supposed to do. The law library in Cincinnati requires that we provide them with a copy of our minutes and a copy of our resolutions. So she's gone back to 2005 up to the date and has made copies for them and is going to deliver those next week. and she's worked out an agreement with them that she will provide those annually to them. That sounds pretty much right. So, we've had some nuisance complaints, and we're working with those. I referred a couple properties on Cowell to Jason at Hamilton County Planning and Zoning. Both the buildings are in horrible shape and appear to be vacant. The one actually doesn't have a roof. So we're working on those. There's a cracked ceiling in there twice, I guess. I just wanted to say the park grand opening at the Pat and June Memorial Park went wonderful. It was well attended. Everybody had a great time, and I wanted to just say congratulations on a beautiful park, and thanks for all the work you all did on that.
And same with you, Jim. You did a great job.
I mentioned during the budget hearing, there's a few House bills or Senate bills of interest that I thought we should kind of be aware of, and I know you guys get them on through the OTA, Ohio Township Association, but the state operating budget, as we talked about, is supposed to be complete by the end of this week or this month, and I talked to Cindy Abrams and talked to Bill Blessing about that, and I still need to touch base with Mike Odioso, but there's a few things in there that we should be concerned about, but we're kind of keeping spreading hurt on that and letting our representatives know how we feel. A couple other things, there's some additional money for fire department grants, including a grant for studies on joint fire districts, some equipment grants and things like that. So we're going to take advantage of all those that we can. This is might be pertinent to us if we end up having to do something with the NAS property. The Brownfield Remediation Support Fund was increased by $25 million in each fiscal year, so if we have to work with that, we'll be online with that. And while the OTA opposes this, the bill that we talked about is during the tax budget hearing that eliminates replacement levies after January 1 of 2026 is one that we'll watch closely. So I think that's all that I had, unless you have questions for me.
All right, any questions for Mr. Brett? All right, we'll move right along, go to the fire department, Chief Schuman.
Good evening.
So month of May, we made 196 incidents. We flushed 854 hydrants. Did 119 hours of training, and we received mutual aid 11 times. We gave mutual aid 4 times, and we had 85 overlapping incidents. May 22nd, we responded to a structure fire in a detached garage over off of Pillar's Green. May 6th, we had a cooking fire on Mount Nebo. On May 15th, we had a body recovery on the river late at night that took a lot of time and a lot of resources from a lot of other departments because of the location where it was. So we'd like to send our thanks to all of our mutual aid partners during that. We had a PR event on Jordan Ridge for the kids' last day of school for that neighborhood. Ended up being a really good event, and I see us going back again next year. We set the ladder up and sprayed water, and they all played, and it ended up being a really good thing. Station tour at Station 70 for some preschool kids, joint trainings with the Western departments at Green Acres for water rescue, and we conducted live burn training with several of our mutual aid departments at Sporting. So that is all I have for May report. Any questions?
All right, any questions from the board? All right, any questions for the chief? All right, Chief, thank you.
Are we doing some new hirings, or is that Later.
It's coming up.
Later, okay.
One of the things I left out of my report, but it's kind of, goes with the chief's report. In your packet, I included a letter from the fire union.
I wonder why you didn't say.
Yeah. I was just trying to get through stuff, but
Go ahead.
if you don't mind, I'd like to.
No,
read
go
it.
ahead, sure.
To Mr. Robinson, Mr. Bland, Mr. Volrath, and Mr. Brett. On behalf of the Miami Township Professional Firefighters, Local 3906, we would like to acknowledge the Miami Township Board of Trustees and Administration for their diligence to ensure that the fire department has proper, safe working equipment, specifically by the purchase of a new engine to replace one of our existing engines and the needed extensive, costly repairs that it was nearing the end of its service life. With these tough economic times, keeping our fire and safety equipment maintained and updated can be very costly, as it is necessary in order for fire personnel to keep the citizens of Miami Township protected. Miami Township Professional Firefighters, Local 3906, would like to thank Miami Township Board of Trustees and Administration for all their efforts in approving the funding to keep our fire and safety equipment in good working order. Your supportive efforts for our fire department, especially while trying to get our levies passed, show your high level of concern for our safety and for the well-being of the citizens of Miami Township. This kind of support is superior to no other and is the foundation for building strong morale among fire department personnel. Your efforts and concerns for our safety, the safety of our community, and supporting the fire department during this difficult time while working to pass our levy are very much appreciated. Sincerely, Nick Kimmel, President, Mitch Rule, Vice President, Chris Freppin, Secretary, and Scott Dunnigan, Treasurer. So,
That's awesome. Thank you, guys. Extend our thanks.
Thanks for your continued support. It doesn't go unnoticed, so appreciate it.
Awesome. All right, I'm not trying to hurry, but Karen Herbert is trying to get her out of here so she don't have to drive home in the storm. I heard thunder.
May activities at the senior center. We went to our first Reds game early May. They had a rain delay, but they were able to get the game in and brought home a win that day, so that made it okay. Members went on a tour of Philadelphia, Cape May, and Atlantic City. And I told Jim if I was going to hit it big, he wouldn't see me again. And I'm here tonight, so
You didn't hit it big.
Darn. So that was a lot of fun. We have a trip planned in October to go up the East Coast into Canada. I try to do a spring and fall trip for the seniors, so and I'm planning something for next spring, but I haven't decided yet. Monthly tour, we went to the Cincinnati Print and Type Museum in Price Hill. Very interesting. I really recommend it to anybody that want to go see it. It's really, Gary Walton, the director, man, he knows his stuff, and we learned so much. And it's a working museum, so the seniors got to actually make cards, you know, the old way. So it was fascinating. And he's actually going to come to the center next month for a program because we liked him that much. So that is July 16th next month. Hamilton County came to the center and did a program on composting. The benefits, how to make one, maintain it, all that. Let's see what else. We celebrated Memorial Day with the Grill Out at the Senior Center. We had hamburgers, potato salad, all that good stuff, and the senior chorus performed for us and sang some patriotic songs. So it was very nice, and thank you, Dan, for coming to that. Let's see, the Senior Center and the library hosted a Reds Trivia Night at the center. Sheriff's Department had to be called one day because we're having homeless hang out in the front of the center. So they kind of, thank you. And I had maintenance put covers on the outside outlets because they come, hang out, and charge their phones and stuff. So
Yeah, we have the same.
That'll help.
Yeah, we have the same problem with the Legion. Yep.
Yeah, see, yeah. And it's just, seniors don't want to come and see that by the front door. It's just, anyway,
Right.
so hopefully with that outlets being covered, that will take care of that, hopefully. Yeah, so the maintenance department, the outside covers on the outlets, they worked hard in the courtyard, they pulled weeds, spray washed the ground. It looks very nice out there, so Wayne's not here, but I wanted to thank him and his crew for that. And the back door to the lock was broken, the door going into the courtyard, so they got that fixed also. So they've been working hard at the center. The new security cameras are in place. The one outside camera is in. I just noticed coming in one day. I was like, oh, there's the latest camera. So they're all in and I guess ready to be online, I guess. So that would be very nice.
Beautification committee put in flowers, right?
Yes, beautification, yes, they look very nice.
We worked
in
up
the
here.
front.
Beautification committee works hard. They put in flowers down at senior center. I went down with them. We worked up here for almost an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then went down there.
Yeah.
So they do, which is Lori McKenna, Stephanie Ogg, and Julie Thacker.
Yeah.
They work really hard for the township, and they all live in the township, obviously,
Yeah, it was
but
really nice.
they do good things. They did all the planters out here and all the boxes in the back we did. So they do good stuff. And that's all volunteer, so everyone knows. It's all volunteer. The township pays for the dirt and the flowers, that's it. When we come up, we did that on a Saturday morning. So, all right, any questions for Karen? All right, thank you, Karen.
Okay, thank you. And I'm gonna,
Yep, take off.
okay, see you guys.
Yep, you're good. All right, thank you. All right, maintenance department, Mr. Brett, you want to read them for Wayne? I know they're doing catch up on the grass before all this rain hits.
Well, Wayne was gonna break away and make the meeting, but they're now cleaning up a tree that fell on the road.
Oh, goodness.
So he and Bobby Cheney are cleaning up a tree right now, so.
Okay,
So, but for May of 2025, for the roads, they painted fire hydrants on Yorkshire, replaced signs, and that's still in progress. Shown back the roads, that's still in progress, and filled some potholes. At West Park, they ran electric for our new cameras down there. Cleaned up the dog park, moved dirt from the flood, took the fence down, cut up some dead trees down there, swept the trail. Mowing and trimming is just never ending, especially the way it's been this year. And these help keep up on emptying the garbage cans that JJ's, when he's not there. Administration building, they've emptied and removed some flower containers up here, picked up and delivered the flowers that the beautification committee put in. Worked on the garbage disposal up here, and of course, again, the grass in the area. Just so everybody knows, last year, we got behind because of the weather and things, and we ended up hiring someone to spruce this place up here. And so we spent $5,100 last year sprucing up this place and doing some of the landscaping. Wayne worked it into their schedule, so we didn't have to spend that money this year. So
yeah, they
he's
work
really
hard.
watching out for us.
They do good.
Good.
Maintenance and repairs, they've worked on the mowers, greased the equipment. Station 68, they took the grates off the floor drains, and I'm not sure what they did with those. Station 70, they fixed a couple lights. I know over here in the event center, they're also fixing some lights. Karen mentioned what they've done at the senior center. And over at the cemetery, they've just been trying to keep up with grass, and I think they've done a great job. The place looked, I think, really good for Memorial Day and for Father's Day as well. So just keeping up on the general stuff down there, painting the bathrooms and the storage building down there. So that's what they've been up to for the past month, and they've been really busy and have done a really great job of keeping up, I think.
Yeah, and they also set up, Wayne and Damien came in Saturday morning brought down the podium, or you brought down the podium, they unloaded it, set it up, they set up chairs, which they showed there are maintenance, but they came in for us, made our grand opening of Pat and June Park really, really nice for us, so they do well. I think they go above and beyond for us. What about the benches for the cemetery? Have we ever decided that?
Well, here's a couple of pieces that have kind of come up. I was approached, I guess about 3 weeks ago, by the Boy Scout troop here, looking to do that as an Eagle Service project. We're waiting to get some stuff back from them, but it is something it's
Okay.
whether they're going to, we told them we really don't think repairing those benches is in the best interest. It's going to be a replacement project, and then they'll work directly with maintenance. So we're looking at it.
Okay.
It's in process.
Sounds great.
And while we're on that, how about garbage cans? We got our garbage cans caught up?
No, we haven't put the garbage can back, but we'll get them ordered.
And I was, along that same topic, I was going to bring up in my remarks about up here as well. So again, I think looking at benches at the cemetery, looking at benches up here, all of it needs to be kind of reevaluated. Jim and I have talked about a couple of things that I've seen at other different parks and options that I think would hold up well in the sun when the sun's beating down and not burn your legs if you got shorts on, or a skirt or a dress or whatever. But anyway, we can talk about that.
Well, and while we're on that, Mike also told me, said this on Saturday, he said, now that we got this, grand opening done and everything turned out great, he looked at me and said, you gotta turn some of your attention to the outside of the building here. So I've contacted the people who supplied the timbers and the people who gave us the price to do that last year, and they can still work us in, so we're gonna get the material that company uses to strip the wood down up to the people that provided the timbers, and they're gonna try and see how it works, and hopefully we'll have something to have that done before the end of the year.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
And Mike won't be on my platform.
All right. We are at facility rentals and community center rentals. You got anything for Ms. Rivers?
No, she's on vacation.
All right. The park, JJ, Mr. Clark is not here. They continue to play ball down there. Our park's used extensively. We've always had people down there, which is wonderful. Our new parking lot is being used tremendously to get people that can't walk good, plus other people that when they're playing on field 2 and they're playing on the big field, they park there, they walk, they've got such a short distance to get to those 2 fields. It's a great addition to our park. Let's put it that way. So I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it's a great addition. I've heard, and I'm not exaggerating, I've had 10 people, different people tell me what a great idea that was to put that parking lot there. It's a great addition to our park. So, and it'll continue from now till hopefully, I don't know, 100 years, I hope. So, all right, we'll move along. We want to go back to, you want to do old business, Mr. Brett?
Yeah, so one of the things that we were waiting on for Resolution 2025-04, the resolution to adopt and allocate funds for the outdoor fitness court as part of the 2025 National Fitness Campaign, was addressing the water line with Cleves. Now that we have that issue taken care of, we know that we're moving ahead. I'd like to see us get this proposal so that we can get the $30,000 grant in place, and they'll ship the equipment. Even if we don't get that installed this year, we'll probably get the concrete base for it. So it's up to you all if you want to continue with this and make that a part of the expansion.
Yeah, well, I would like to. I can't speak for the board, but as president, I would like to move forward with it. Our main hangup, and like you said, was getting an agreement with Cleves to get that water line moved so we can move forward with the park, which we obtained. So I'd like to move forward with the resolution 2025-04. Any discussion?
Well, I mean, I agree that that's resolved, and in general, I'm inclined to support it, but I would love for it to be part of the overall bid, so that we understand, again, whether we're spending 2.7 or 3 or 3.2 or 3.5 or, whatever we're going to spend on the project. But if that can't be part of that overall proposal so that it's part of the expansion as a whole, I don't know if you have clarity on what our timeline is, when we hope to get bids, and whether that can be rolled into that proposal, or if this needs to be separate as far as the grant and all
This will need to be separate
that.
if we want to
Right.
get that
And
in
we'll-
this year.
But we know the exact amount, though. We know the amount. Am I correct on that?
We know the amount that's.
For this.
So we
Yes.
can put it
Yes.
in.
Right, but
So it'll be added to it, is what it'll be, added to our final cost of that. So if it's 3.2, what is this? I think it's 110.
110, 140 minus the 30
140
budget.
minus 30, so
From $110,000 with
our.
our $30,000 grant that we're
Yeah.
getting. So $110,000 will add to the overall cost.
I promise you, I'm not trying to hold this up, but if you guys say it's, if it comes back and it's 4 million, then I might say, you know what? We need to whittle that down. And if we're looking to whittle it down, this might be one of the things we say, hey, that's a luxury and a want, but not a need with our overall expansion. If it comes in at, whatever, 2.5, then I might say, you know what? This is a nice thing to have, and let's go ahead and do it. So I struggle with that because we don't have the big picture of what is this expansion going to likely cost. We have some estimates, and we have a $400,000 range from what we got, as the expert said, and then our engineer is hoping it comes in at. But I don't know. This is where, instead of piecemealing it together, it would be nice to say, this is what our project is, and this is what it's going to cost. And do we support these things being included in that or not? I don't know.
All right, you got that in discussion?
Yeah, I think the only discussion piece would be here, the grant certainly helps take some of that away, that little bit of that sting away. This is, to your point, we don't have the final numbers yet. I think, 110, small drop in the bucket to the big overall budget. Maybe,
Right.
As we look at this coming in, maybe we say, all right, this 110, if we're gonna make this part of that, maybe we gotta find, somewhere else to pull that 110 from when we get the final numbers back.
I mean, you guys both served on the park committee. If you think that this is a priority, and that if it does come in at 3.5 or 3.7 or 3, are we willing to forego something else to say, hey, we were committed to this, and we think that this was really important to be a part of?
Well, I think we
Okay.
can look at that. I honestly think this is really important to our residents because it's a health and wellness issue, because it deals with your working out capabilities, not only from younger people can use it, but all the way up to elderly people can use it. So I would like to see us move forward on it. We can look at that as a possibility, but like Mr. Worath said, we're getting a $30,000 grant, it's $110,000 to add a outdoor fitness center to our beautiful park that we have now, that we're gonna extend and put out the bid, that is only gonna enhance it by all means. That's my opinion on that. So, but we can definitely look at that, but I don't think we should look at cutting something out to get this approved, but if it comes in way more money than we're anticipating, then we can look at that.
And I think as far as that goes, Mike, my commitment to you is we'll look at this overall cost and you know, if we feel like something else has to be whittled out of there, we'll certainly take a look at this. But I think, you know, with a $30,000 grant, it takes a little bit of the sting out of this. I think it is a good piece to put
But
in.
we'll still have some expense of the concrete to place this on.
Right.
Concrete pad.
That
But,
comes in with
the
the
one thing
bid.
I would say is, if the expansion comes in way over what we want to spend, we can still put this in the existing park. So,
So that is an option.
yeah, we could put it out back here. We could put it anywhere, but, yeah, I think West Park would be the ideal place for it.
I think it's ideal too. It's gonna be right by the walking trail.
Yeah, and we could put it there and then build the expansion later on around it if we feel like the bids are just too high.
Okay, well, that gives me some peace of mind, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that. And Tim, I appreciate your commitment, and so thank you for that discussion.
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve Resolution 2025-04 to adopt and allocate funds for our outdoor fitness center as part of the 2025 National Fitness Campaign for our Miami Township residents.
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Volrath?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Brett?
All right, next is the flock cameras. Mike has been working on that with them for some time, and you have the actual pricing that he received about an hour before the meeting today. And he said to me, he said, hey, can you type this up? So the flock camera pricing, the proposal right now is that we would place 4, the county would place 4, and possibly provide a 5th camera. So it would, in essence, get us 8 to 9 cameras. And stop me when I go straight.
You're fine.
8 to 9 cameras, the installation and the installation and permits for each camera is $850, and the cameras are $3,000 for the first year, so the $3,400 for R4, and then $12,000 for our 4 cameras. First year cost would be $15,400. Year 2 and thereafter, because they won't have to install them, would be $12,000 a year.
Is there any, like, if we put these things in and one of these cameras go bad, is there any kind of like warranty on these things? Is there any kind of
They're
replacement?
warranted, and if they fall out of warranty, I think it's $1,300 per camera to replace them.
Yeah, there is some provision clauses that we would be on the hook, like if somebody drove, semi drove through it and whatever else, that we'd have to figure that out. And basically what I'm going to ask the board to do tonight is to approve these expenditures and authorize Mr. Brett to negotiate and execute the contract with specific language. There will be an addendum to the sheriff's contract. But obviously, the most important part is the money part for this board to be aware of. So as long as he believes that this is, everything's kosher, which again, we have no reason to believe it wouldn't be, because the sheriff and the county have these contracts and these flat contracts with several other townships in Hamilton County. So it would essentially mirror, the majority of the language would just mirror that. It is unique, and I appreciate the sheriff's department office, whatever, negotiating this deal with us to get those matching cameras. And I did meet, Mr. Brett and myself met with Lieutenant McElroy. We've already identified the locations that we believe we've both been most beneficial, both from a safety standpoint and a geographical, to have good coverage throughout the entire township. So we feel like this is a really good number, and like I said, they're looking at and likely going to take an additional camera that's underperforming in one of the other areas that isn't getting as much traffic and hits as they were hoping, and hopefully move that into our area. So to pay for 4 and get 8 or likely 9 cameras is really fantastic. And again, everyone that I've talked to in the law enforcement community continues to tout this as the latest and greatest, best tool for solving crime. So I think it'll be a great deterrent if we move forward. But good question, yeah, on that for as far as liability of the
Do
cameras.
you got any more questions?
I think the only other question I have is, like, the placement of these, is it on private property? Is it on township property? Or is it?
It needs to be on township property. Essentially, it's, typically right on a street corner. A lot of times they can place it next to a stop sign or something like that where it kind of blends in and you see, you don't even notice the other pole. You might notice it in some areas where there's not as much signage, but yeah, it's mostly at intersections where we're trying to catch as much traffic coming and going. And again, we looked at traffic patterns to get as many cars as possible, but essentially trying to look at the entrances and the exits in and out of our community. And that's what's going to keep us mostly safe, and that they're going to be able to solve these crimes when people come in, particularly from the outside, and do bad things and then try to scoot out of town, that we can catch them. So
that's
And
something.
they can go on state right of way or county right of way as well.
correct,
Correct.
yes.
So not just township streets, but
What'd you say?
they could be on state right of way or county right of way. So
Right.
Yes.
I'm not sure if we talked,
Right.
we talked about several different places,
Mm-hmm.
like Elk Trot and
So the
State Route
place,
264.
that's my problem, not problem. I like to know the placement of the cameras and look at it before. I'm fine with going forward with this, but I would like to see it and be explained to it why we have it there and where they're all gonna be. So I think we should both be consulted on that.
Okay, well, I mean, we've got that list. We agree that it probably wasn't best to tell the general public.
I'm not asking you to tell the
Okay,
general public.
but I'm
We're part of
just,
the
but that
board
that
that's
was the
getting
reason
ready
why
to
it's not in
approve
writing
this.
here.
I didn't ask for it
Because,
to be.
right, but, yeah,
We should know that information though. And we
Okay.
should both be in agreement with it, which I'm not gonna not be in agreement with it. I just like to observe it, look at it for myself, and I've lived here all my life and see what they've determined, who made the determination? The sheriff's department made the determination?
In consultation with Mr. Robeson.
Okay, so in consultation with you, and it should be with myself
And
and
Mr.
Mr.
Brett.
Bolrath. And
I
all
can get
this
Lieutenant
also.
McElroy to send it to me, and I can forward it to you and Ken
Okay.
for your review, and then
We'll do that.
any comments you can send back to me.
I would,
They're wanting to get this contract
Yeah.
for countywide done by August.
well, they actually want it done, so part of, and I hate when this happens to me with other things, but Major/Captain Stapleton informed us that their annual, I guess, contract with Flock starts on September the 1st. And so they're trying to get all contracts, everything approved by the end of June. And that typically installation takes 6 to 8 weeks. They said sometimes it could take 4 or 5, but they like to give themselves, and say 6 to 8 weeks, so that everything would be installed by September the 1st. So to do that, they have to have everything in place by July the 1st so that they can place the order with Flock and say, this is the contracts that we've approved. These are the locations that we want them to be. So if you guys are okay with it, we could approve it tonight, so long as Mr. Brett and I communicate with the 2 of you, 3 of you, whatever, and that you are in agreement with the placement, because the important thing is to approve the money tonight, but that we can still, as long as by July 1st, tweak the locations,
Okay.
and say, this is, we'd like this one to go over here instead. Because we did talk about a couple of variations, and there were 1 or 2 that we were kind of iffy on, but taking all that into consideration.
So
Yeah, they're not a permanent placement. so-
Yes, I think that's
well, they sort of
important.
are, but if we,
So
after
you
6
tell me
months
we
or a
can
year.
move them after a
For
year?
sure.
Yeah. we can-
It could be
we can
6
have-
months, it could,
And just like the one that he's talking about underperforming, if there's an issue that we can identify and one has to be moved, we can request that to happen.
Okay.
And
so that could be,
That's
work
good.
in progress, and we say, hey, this is working really well here or there, or and kind of review it on an annual basis.
Do we need the approval for just the first year, or the first year and the continuing?
Just the first year.
Okay.
Just the first year, really, but, I mean, that's, I guess we could terminate the contract at some point after an annual basis, but that is the cost going forward, is the regular 3,000.
Yeah, I didn't know if we had to do separate.
So how long is the contract?
We can approve it as annual, so we
Okay.
can, I'll just put it on the, on my calendar for us to approve next year at this meeting.
Okay, and then, so I know it's one company, so we would be, after this year, after our initial payment of $15,400, then year two's $12,000. So it's just a year-to-year contract, so
Yeah,
they can increase it every year on us, or no?
well, they're saying that it's 12,000 next year, and I think the thought process is, depending on how many cameras the county ends up with, the more they end up with, the cost will come down,
Better deal.
so.
Okay.
So it could get better, could get worse, could stay the same, but I think that, we can, again, negotiate that and see if,
If we
Yeah,
wanna
I just
approve
had
it-
to ask, because it's only a
If you
yearly
want to approve it for
contract,
2
and all of a
years at that
sudden.
rate, then I can tell them that's what we approved. And
yeah, we could do 2, 3, 5,
I'm okay with that.
whatever.
I think so. I think we need to at least do 2 to 3 years and then go from there. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful tool for our deputies and to keep our residents safe. So I'm definitely all for it. All right, did you have any more questions?
No question.
All right. Any questions from the public? All right, you want to go ahead?
Sure, so I'll make a motion that we approve the $15,400 for year one, and with the flock cameras to be installed by September the 1st. Is that reasonable, and that we will continue to look at it on an annual basis? And with the understanding that Mr. Brett, our administrator, will work out the wording and get us a contract, and that the other 2 board members will be in agreement with the placement of the cameras.
And the 2 to 3 years, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Up to-
I think I'd love to do 3 years, but if,
I think we should at least
And up to
ask.
$12,000 for 2 additional years.
yes.
Each year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
That's reasonable.
Okay,
All right, so you made that motion?
yes.
Okay, I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Volrath?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
All right, new business, Mr. Brett, right? Yep,
Yeah,
we're on the new
so-
business.
The first thing we have is, we need a motion to accept the 2026 tax budget.
All right, Ms. Ozier, do you want to, we need to approve the tax budget, and then we
Yeah.
need to
Yes,
do
that we had the
separately
public hearing on, yeah.
that we need, all
Yeah.
right.
And I just sent it to the county, and I don't know what they do with it,
All right, do we got any more discussion about
but
that?
we just have to, yeah.
No, I think it's good, and I think we should continue to try to have conversations periodically. I know it's nice to do it as a reminder, as an annual thing, but I think, again, as we look at the state legislation, that could change dramatically, and I think, if we need to look at the big picture quickly, we should try to do that.
All right, any discussion?
No discussion.
All right.
You have a
Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the tax budget for 2026.
Second?
Mr. Volrath?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Do we want to address the,
The replacement versus
yeah,
renewal.
replacement versus renewal, submitting to the auditor on getting a, what are we going to do,
We
submit
would
it?
have to pass a
Get the village
resolution.
number.
What is it?
We're just trying to get the millage number to see what that
Yeah,
looks
so
like.
go ahead and make a motion.
All right,
Well, it actually needs to be a resolution, and
Okay.
So that would be 2025.
Do we got are we on 05? That
No.
04 is old.
no, or that will
That's-
be 2025 at 10.
Do we have to have it in front of us? This is kind of what I'm
Well,
gathering.
I don't
you
think we do.
can give me a couple minutes to try to do it, or you can just,
Let's just,
Can we come back to it?
yeah, we can come back to
Yeah.
it. Let's just come back to it at the end. Go ahead, Mr. Brett. You're gonna have to work, you're gonna have to,
Yeah. So, one of the things, as I mentioned earlier, the crack ceiling is underway. And the amount that we had figured in for just kind of a rough budget number for this year was $450,000. The original proposal from Strasser was $465,000. And then when actually prices came down, because petroleum costs came down, funny how that works, and people don't realize there's, you know,
Correlation.
stuff in your blacktop. But anyway, one of the streets that we had planned to do next year was the intersection of Chestnut Lane and State Route 264 back to Beacon Hill, and there's basically one road that goes off the left that's our responsibility. So since we had some money left in the budget and looking at that, that would get that entire subdivision done of what we're responsible for. So I went back and asked Harris from Strasser if